Deep Dive, episode 18, Halloween, part 3.
Halloween part 3.
Hell yeah, Halloween part 3.
We've finally come to the final episode in what is our first trilogy.
Hell
our very first.
That's a sick way to look at it.
It is. It's. I mean, we're going to have a lot of firsts here in these first couple seasons, but for our first trilogy, I think this was an amazing topic to pick. Even with the diversity of these movies.
Mm-hmm. This is your boy Practical.
This is your boy Rex.
And we're talking about now what they refer to as the H40 timeline, 40 years later.
Or the gangrene timeline.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Doesn't start bad, but it ends terribly. You don't take care of it. Anyway, sorry, I just made that up. But
so we have to recap. This one only acknowledges 1978 Halloween, which we have talked about twice. So this will be the shortest recap of them all. But I love that movie.
Speed wrap it right now. Go.
For me, it's a 10 out of 10. Oh, yeah.
I have a double rating, so I'll give you my double rating. It's a 6 regular and an 8 horror.
Double rating. First double rating to make 3 episodes of an appearance.
I mean, you know what? The trilogies have to connect somehow.
Hell yeah.
So you can connect these together based on my ratings. Wait, he's never done that before?
I can't wait to call back to the double rating thing like later down the line. Like, it's time for a new horror movie. What's your double rating? Just catch you off guard.
And back to another double rating with your host, Rex.
So, with that said, that'll probably be the most recap we'll even bother to do for that. Obviously, y'all know the storyline. Michael Myers kills his sister, goes to an asylum, fucking gets out or escapes. Fucking chases down Laurie Strode and all her friends.
Almost gets her.
Laurie lives.
Survivor.
40 years later.
She's hell old.
2018's Halloween. Weirdly just called Halloween, just like the first one.
Yeah, just because it's a sequel.
It's
weird. Requel. It's a requel because it's a sequel retconning the rest, right?
At least with this one. Yeah, no, it is.
Okay.
It is.
So the Halloween requel, yeah. It's weird they didn't like give it some kind of subtitle.
They should have, because it's like, I love Halloween and its sequel, Halloween.
Yeah. You know, when you talk about them, you now have to make that distinction, you know,
every time
78 or 18. But
it's dumb. I don't like it.
I see why they did it, because I feel like it's in line with how they named the movies.
Yeah.
So, but again, if they would have been like Halloween and maybe done one of the words as a 4 or something cool, I don't know. That maybe take the double L's and put a double line the other way. I don't know. You could have symbolized that it was like 40 years later.
Just call it H40.
I think that sounds lame.
It's probably too cheesy.
It sounds so lame. And I don't want to connect it to those cheesy ones.
I would like call it something involving Laurie Strode, since she's back, like the return of Laurie Strode. So then that way there's the return of Michael Myers and the return of Laurie Strode. Something like that.
Call it the curse of Laurie Strode.
But even, I don't know, that might even be cheesy.
Her. Yeah. I mean, it's all cheesy. So I think even though I would have liked them to name it something different, I think it worked out in the end.
For sure. As much as I do like 2018's Halloween, it's worth noting that David Gordon Green kind of drops the ball here.
Does he?
I don't know. Just
okay.
In the trilogy on the whole, but 2018 is good. But I think it's a lot of good ideas that eventually are soured upon as we advance. But Laurie Strode, 40 years later, living deep in the woods in some isolated small town. Is it Hadfield? I don't remember that thing. I'm sure it is.
I think it's somewhere way out.
Nearby. But far out.
Like far out, but yeah, near.
So she's been training. You know, she has a daughter now. Completely different than in the H2O timeline where she has a son. Now she has a daughter. And that daughter has a daughter. So she's got a whole slew of Strodes running around.
Yep, she's got a litter. All girls, too.
All girls. Great performances. Judy Greer, I love her. She's great. I think she does a really good job. And her daughter, what's her name? She's in all three of them. The granddaughter's name.
Yeah. Her name is Allison.
Allison,
and
right.
Her real name is Andy Matichak.
I'll leave just you to butcher that one. I won't even attempt it.
No, you got to help me out. And you already mentioned Judy Greer, right?
Yeah.
Yep. Okay.
Big fan of Judy Greer.
She was good in this.
Yeah.
She was good in these, even in Kills. But I do like the granddaughter.
Up until ends.
Yeah. It's so, again, a bad, but we're going to talk about that soon. So anyways.
We're just both so antsy to talk about ends. It's hilarious, but.
It's antsy and also dreading.
But not for good reasons.
No.
I mean, everyone probably knows that because the movie sucks.
I'm excited to talk about Kills is the one I'm excited to talk about.
With 2018, though, Laurie Strode's still very mentally damaged, just like she was in the H2O storyline.
But more of a hermit.
Yeah. And a badass kind of because she's training with all these guns and just waiting for Michael to come back. And because she just knows it, and it's got a lot of the same shit that H2O had. Like her son's pissed that she won't let it go. Her daughter's pissed that she won't let it go. They don't connect, but they share so many things with just minor exceptions.
Well, that's what I feel like all three of these movies did. They took what David Gordon Green and Danny McBride liked about all the different movies and kind of put them in these ones to some extent.
Which is cool.
Because, the dynamic about that between her son and H2O isn't bad.
No.
It's an understandable one coming from what she came from, especially since they consider number 2 in that timeline.
Yeah.
Which I feel like would scar her even. I feel like it should have been flip-flop. They should have only gone with the first one in that little trilogy and gone to the second one in this one, because Laurie in H2O seems more like someone who'd just be scarred of the one interaction instead of Laurie in the 2018 being fucked up from 2 interactions, but it's opposite. Yeah. I think it just would have made more sense because 1, she has just that single interaction with him. In 2, she almost got.
Oh yeah, she almost always gets got.
She almost got again, but
we don't get got. We go get.
The Laurie Strodes don't get got. They go get.
I don't really like Laurie in this one though. Like I like Michael. I really like Michael in the Gordon Green trilogy and in this movie, but I don't really like anybody else. I like Judy Greer, I guess, but I don't know. The dad's funny. Judy Greer's husband. The dude's pretty funny, and he gets fucked up too.
Dude.
This one's pretty. So you were talking about in the last episode the PG-ness of those movies, but this one fucking goes wild. Like this one in Kills and even ends is probably the weakest, but 2018 and Kills go wild with the kills.
I feel like Rob Zombie's first one goes really wild, and second one by that
for sure.
So like this one's like the middle ground where H2O and Resurrection were pussyfooting around. Rob Zombie did what he does, fucking pedal to the metal. And then this one's like, well, let's kind of be brutal, but let's not do Rob Zombie brutal.
It's funny because as much as I'm anticipating talking about Halloween Ends, I'm also anticipating talking about Rob Zombie's Halloween because I have some pretty unpopular opinions about that movie, but we'll get there.
Tune in. Rob Zombie coming soon.
Yeah, sometime in November. Probably right near my birthday because I love Rob Zombie and I want to do the music episode and the movie episode.
Hell yeah, Robbie the Zombie.
Rob Dizzle.
But
2018 though, I think is a solid entry because it does a lot of things right. It kind of reinvents the wheel in a lot of ways for a modern interpretation of Michael, which is cool. And it does some pretty decent world building because obviously Gordon Green intended a trilogy from the jump, I guess, or he had signed a 3-movie deal to make this something they couldn't get out of Rob Zombie. So they were like, the next guy's fucking doing it or he's out. But I think Lori is not that interesting in this movie. Like, aside from her being prepared for battle, I don't really like it. But I do like the way that Michael is conjured out of everything, how he escapes again. But it's all because those podcasters show up and they're trying to do a Michael Myers episode on their podcast, and they taunt him with the mask in the beginning. I think that's pretty cool. That's a good cold open for a Halloween movie. I think it works.
It works.
Like, it's a little contrived, but it works.
It works. I mean, it's not a bad way to do it, but I wasn't a big fan of it. And they're just allowed to do that.
It's cool though when he ends those two. That's kind of a callback to, I think it's like Halloween 4, where that woman stops to let her kid go to the bathroom, and he like comes in and steals her car and shit, or maybe that's H2O. I think that happens in 2 actually, because it's a callback to the other one.
Yeah, because
there's too many fucking callbacks.
Steals the car after he kills the nurse.
Callback and fucking callback. Speaking of the nurse,
I'll call you back.
She is also in this Gordon Green franchise, the one from H2O. She makes a comeback.
Really?
Yeah, she's that super old woman in Kills. She's in the car right before like Lucy, I think her name is, or whatever, from the original movie. She's in the car and Michael kills the 4 of them near the park right there. Like, the nurse is in that one too. So she's in
another timeline.
All 3 timelines.
She's connecting them.
But that's kind of cool. But I don't know. That's the best thing about this trilogy is, like you mentioned, is the callbacks. Just all of the attention to detail and the pure fandom as Michael pursues his way back to Lori, and the audience is waiting for this grand finale of these 2 fighting and shit, and he's tearing through Haddonfield again, and the child trope of, Mom, I don't believe you that Michael's a real guy, and blibbity blabbity blooper. Maybe she believes it's real, but she's just sick of that shit.
Well, he's been locked up for 40 years. It's not like in H2O he was locked up for 20, or the other trilogy where he's locked up for 10. I think it's 10 years between 2 and 4. Anyways,
I can't remember all this shit. It's ridiculous.
So I mean, this trilogy is full of weaving together what, I guess, like I said, David Gordon Green and Danny McBride and whoever else was in on it, their favorite parts of the movies.
Yeah,
where they kind of tried to leave out the shit parts, even though they made ends.
It's because I feel like 2018 and Kills were filmed so close together, like, And what's cool about Kills 2, I just have to throw it out there, is even though it doesn't acknowledge Halloween 2, but 2018 and Kills are on the same night, just like Halloween and Halloween 2.
And Halloween 2 has
So
Lori
sick.
in the hospital the whole time.
God. That now,
because you think about it, in Halloween 2, Lori's not even really a main character.
No.
She is, but she isn't, because she spends so much of her time in the hospital bed and knocked out off screen. She doesn't have that much screen time till the end.
It's true.
So
she wakes up.
Yeah, she wakes up. Well, yeah. So, anyways, with 2018, I really like her little secret basement underneath the what do you call those islands? It's an island.
It's like a kitchen island.
Yeah, so it's underneath that. I thought it was cool.
Yeah, no, that's a
like part of her prep work.
Sick addition. But
and then the way she traps Michael's pretty tight.
Yeah, like it's not whatever she says. Judy Greer's like, it's not a hideout, Michael. It's a trap or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool. And I do like the cool thing about the movie is it does kind of build a relationship with the Strode women.
Yep.
Like we get the 3 generations of the Strodes, and I think that's kind of cool. That's like probably one of the better parts of the movie for me.
I mean, geez, her granddaughter loses mom and dad in one night.
No, she doesn't lose mom until Kills.
Yeah, but Kills happens on the same night.
Oh, true. Yeah.
See?
in
one.
She gets fucked up, and her boyfriend.
Oh, and her
boyfriend. That
fuck, dude.
That guy sucks.
Yeah, he's a cox. Not worse than Corey.
Nobody's worse than Corey. Corey blows.
gory, but not in a good way.
Speaking of some of the kills in this movie, though, I mean, we got to shout out like her dad. That's a good one. Where brutal. He fucking gets his fucking head chopped off and his face carved into, and just wild.
They really did go harsh with these ones, which is sweet.
Mm-hmm. And then there's that kill that. Oh no, that's in Kills. I love Kills because there's a lot of good ones.
Kills has a lot of he basically murders the town.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
He just tears through him like butter. Dude.
It's sick but also a problem.
But there's so many good shots. And the thing is, because they both take place on the same night, I can't remember what happens in which movie sometimes.
That's why I got 1 and 2 confused earlier.
But there's that scene where it does the exact same thing that Halloween 2 does, where Michael's still on the loose and the movie starts and it shows him walking through the house and he steals the knife and shit.
Yep.
That kind of happens in 2018. And then the way he slits her throat, the way it's filmed, it's just sick.
Yeah, no.
That detail.
They were on an upward trajectory, which, again, it's weird that they made such a shitty movie called Ends, and then back to back they made the shit ball that is Believer.
Well, that's a different episode.
Different episode,
but we will do the Exorcist movies.
Absolutely, we have to, because we just went through them. Yeah. We watched quite a few of them together, but
unfortunately. No, 2 is crappy, but
2 is wild.
The Heretic is good, or not the Heretic, but
3,
the third one.
Yeah, the cop.
Yeah,
the detective. But anyways, a 2018 is a good one. It's a solid entry, and it seemed like they were on the right. They started on the right foot.
They were on a path.
They were, and Lori, I liked. You might not have liked her, but I felt like she's more of what I would imagine a woman who goes through that, but the guy is still alive, and he survived still 6 shots in the chest from Loomis, and fell off a roof, and got stabbed in the neck with her thing, and she stabbed him with something else, I believe. So he's still superhuman doing shit.
Yeah, and his superhuman powers in this trilogy are fucking on crack. But in a good way, because again, you just can't kill him. Was John Carpenter's original vision for Michael, was that he was just that unexplained, unstoppable evil.
The Shape.
And this movie and Kills carries that pretty fucking well.
Pretty good.
But I don't know. Overall, though, I do love the movie, actually. It is one of the best in the franchise.
Yes.
And I think David Gordon Green killed it, especially coming off of being like a comedic director.
Yep.
And
like we talked about, those comedic directors jumping to horror and doing a good job.
Like Jordan Peele, my boy Jordan Peele.
Mr. Peele.
Also, fuck you, Jordan Peele. A.A. Ron, fuck you.
A.A. Peele.
It's funny because I think it's not even him in the skit, but I know he had something to do with writing it. Fuck him.
Well, yeah, he's there. Present.
Oh, yeah, that's right. He is in the skit. Fuck those motherfuckers. But no, yeah. Jordan Peele, David Gordon Green, seeing that comedic jump to horror is not only interesting, but kind of cool. Yep. I just wish Gordon Green hadn't dropped the ball 2 times in a row. Like, he did good 2 times in a row, and then dropped the ball 2 times in a row.
But his ball drops were like basically Johnny Knoxville as the old man in his skit in Jackass, where his balls are hanging out his shorts.
Johnny Dropsville.
Yeah, Johnny Drop Ballsville. The dog comes up and licks him, and he goes, reminds me of my ex-wife.
Hell yeah.
But it wasn't funny.
I don't know.
Do you think it's better than 2?
No. I really like 2. I think 1 and 2 is a solid unit.
Me too.
I think, but I'd probably put it on par with 4.
I'd put it above 4.
I like them both about the same, I'd say. I mean, not because one's worse than the other or this or that, but that's why I would put them about on the same plane. So
yeah, I guess so, because for me, I'm going to rate them a 6 again on the movie scale, and probably about a 7.5. I rate the first 2 an 8 in the horror scene, and the same on the regular movie scene, about a 6.
I'll probably be at about like 7, 7.5, maybe 8.
So we're right about the same where I rated at least on horror.
Yeah. Because it could rate slightly higher or lower than 4, but I still probably like it about the same. Because I personally just rank them in what are my go-to Halloween movies. And since Halloween 2018 came out, I do throw that one on randomly. I like
will
doing
say, as just a heads up to the future, I like Halloween Rob Zombie's first one more than 2018.
I don't know about that.
I like Rob Zombie's first one.
As big of a Rob Zombie fan as I am, I'm really not all that into either of those movies.
That's fair.
I mean, I don't hate the remake, but the second one I definitely don't like. So.
I said the first one.
Mm-hmm.
I specified that because I don't want that second one being grouped in with this shit and diluting it. But
don't want that Rob Zombie Halloween 2 stank on it.
That cheese, that Fromunda stank.
Well,
last night stank.
You got to try things, even though I don't think it was things he wanted to try.
Like people at Diddy's party.
Baby oil. Gross.
That didn't help.
No.
Probably were limping your whole day after. But
I will not be attending any party like that ever in my life.
So
Gross.
that was Halloween 2018. The Laurie Strode story.
A really big comeback for the Halloween franchise, too.
Especially after Resurrection.
The reason we got this one.
I'm sorry, because that discredits Halloween 1 and 2 from Rob Zombie. So especially from Halloween 2 by Rob Zombie.
Yeah, it discredits it, but it's true. It did do better, and it was more well-received, so it's probably more notable to most people.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I liked it. Overall, it was good, solid. I was surprised at how good it was. I didn't watch it in theater. I saw it on Peacock.
Yeah.
Actually, I saw them all on Peacock. Peacock. Yep.
Well, that brings us to a pretty short wait for the sequel. 2021's Halloween Kills.
Wait, it was 3 years? 3 years?
It's a pretty short wait.
Wait, what's the difference between that and Ends?
1 year.
So did they do Ends and Kills at the same time and one early on?
I don't think so. Let me see. Let me double check myself.
I mean, in the timeline, Kills happens the same night as one, but it sounds like they did Kills and Ends back to back.
It's possible. I mean, they're such vastly different movies that it's hard to believe if that is the case.
It is. I mean, if it is the case, it's going to blow my mind.
Yeah, it's literally just the next year. So
they have to record it back to back.
I mean, probably. So that's even more mind blowing. It's stupid.
Maybe rush job. I cannot speak. Maybe it was a rush job to get that out.
Maybe. I mean, I don't remember. I could have sworn when they were first doing all those movies, they promised us they would be out quicker than they were anyway. But I know COVID happened after 2018 came out.
That is true.
So I think it probably delayed some shit. And then, because Kills was definitely delayed 3 years, Yeah, I don't think that was the intention.
COVID fucked everything up. But anyways, we're on 2021's Kills. Halloween Kills. Now,
like we said, same night.
So Michael survived being trapped in the basement while the house was burning.
Mm-hmm.
And this is where we first see Michael's real brutality in this series when he takes on the firemen.
There's also a really good quote from that movie. Yeah, that's the one. That's a good one.
It is. Let him burn.
It further illustrates that just that motherfucker ain't going down.
He's not.
And it leads to that scene you're talking about where he just fucks those firemen up, dude. Just goddamn.
But at the same time, it's badass. It's also lame.
No, it's badass.
No, because they all go one at a time.
They're firemen.
If he murders two of you and you have axes and obviously one-on-one ain't working, why are you going to keep going one-on-one? This guy, obviously, he's like 6'7", and the tallest firefighter there is probably like 6'2". So he's already at the advantage
two of you at the same time, you might have axed the shit out of them. But they go one at a time. And obviously, no matter if you're freaking a fireman or Arnold Schwarzenegger in 1988,
they're in shock.
Michael's going to murder you.
Yeah, but they just watched like a nearly 7 foot tall dude walk out of a fucking building engulfed in flames, like,
and murder one of them. I mean, I can get that, but if they all would have just went at the same time, we wouldn't have got such a sweet fucking murder scene. But it was like, dude.
We see later in the movie that swarming him all at the same time does not a goddamn thing anyway.
So. They don't do that either. They do one at a time.
Yeah, but they're attacking him. The firemen don't even attack him. Like, Michael gets hit hella times in that village scene.
He does.
And he just gets back up and he's like, oh, really? It's my turn, bitch. Bitch. I love it, dude. I think so. Halloween Kills, for me, if I had to explain it, is like Michael Myers on meth, or like, I don't even know, on steroids. Like, he's just fucking unhinged in this movie. I mean, the kills are brutal as fuck. The amount of people he kills, I think he kills probably as many people as he kills in the whole fucking franchise just in this one movie.
I agree with that.
At least comparable.
So here's my thought about this movie that I first watched it and I really didn't like it. Mm-hmm. I watched it again and I grew more favorable towards it. And now I think it's okay. And I realized that in the movie, Michael isn't the bad guy. Mm-hmm. The actual villain is Fear. Because even though Michael does decimate a bunch of people, mm-hmm. the mob kills people for no reason. Because they think, and like everybody's going crazy, and a lot of the damage done to the city isn't done by Michael. Mm-hmm. It's done by them, by panic and fear.
It's awesome.
It is awesome. It created an atmosphere in that movie, and although Michael is the villain, it seemed to me that the overall theme of the movie wasn't like he was the villain, but Fear was, because Fear made it so he could actually do everything he did, because there was no organization, there was no real thing until the end when they all beat the shit out of him, but he still comes back and wins.
It's the Michael Myers way, man. Like, mm-hmm. That's just what he does.
You can't get him. And also, one bad thing about this movie, Michael and Laurie are never in the same room. They never meet again until ends. They do not see each other. In Kills, he never makes it to Laurie.
That depends on which Michael we're talking about. Are we talking about the real Michael Myers or the movie's stupid fucking subplot of the other escaped inmate that they think some short fault, like fat, bald fucking dude is Michael Myers with no mask on? That's probably my biggest complaint.
Yeah, that's a stupid one, but it's also, I don't know, like, why Laurie is in that movie.
Yeah, for no reason.
Yeah, no reason. Her daughter, Miss Greer, she fucking takes one for the team. Mm-hmm. She takes one for the team.
Oh, for sure.
Like,
I love the, and then of course there's the infamous return of Tommy Doyle again.
Yep, and he's one of the he's one of the perpetuators of the fear.
Evil dies tonight.
Evil dies tonight.
Yeah, it's dumb. They don't say it as many times as people like to say, though. Like, if you watch it, they say it like a handful of times, but
not as many times as 6 times. Yeah. I've shot him 6 times. Shout out to Mr. Loomis, R.I.P. If you would have been there,
yeah,
you would have really perpetuated the crowd with your 6 times.
He probably would have shot him 6 more times. Well, we do actually get that nice little flashback in the beginning of the movie with Dr. Loomis and shit, and the other interaction with the cop, which is awesome. That scene is fucking totally badass, dude. They do a great job with that flashback scene. I think that's probably one of the other strong points of the movie. But I have a really major problem with the the mistaken identity thing with that other inmate, because
it's stupid. He's not even the right size. He's a short, just
Sheriff Brackett is one of the like hospital security guards in this movie, and he's in fucking Halloween 1. He has goddamn seen Michael Myers. He knows what he looks like. He knows he's not some stout, fat, fucking bald man. I mean, I know he has a mask on, but come the fuck on. Like, he's not that short. He wouldn't have shrunk that much in 10 years or 30 years or 40 years.
Whatever the fuck,
40 years.
Especially when you see him in the fucking first one, the 2018. Like...
But it's cool that Lindsay Wallace is in this one too. Tommy Doyle and Lindsay Wallace, the two little kids that Laurie is babysitting that night. And the scene where he corners them at that park and he kills the trick-or-treater kids. And they're all wearing the Season of the Witch masks. Which is perfect because Season of the Witch is the last movie on tonight's agenda.
Later tonight, join us for... Season of the Witch.
We're also only 6 days from Halloween on this episode, which is cool.
We're getting close, so make sure you guys watch them all. Get some Halloween. Get it out of your system. But
Get them watched.
Kills is an interesting movie. I don't like that him and Laurie never meet up. I don't like...
They're saving it for ends, which is lame.
I'm not going to comment on that.
Hell yeah.
And... I don't like... Actually, that's probably about it. I also don't like that, what you mentioned about the other inmate. Like, obviously, mob mentality, when there's fear, drives you to just do stuff, even if you're not sure. Like, and that's why I think fear is the overall bad guy of Kills. Even though Michael is the embodiment of it, just the fear, the atmosphere of fear in the... all that, what it drives people to do.
Michael fucking people up in this movie, dude. He
fucks
up everybody.
He fucks them up physically and mentally.
I love when he goes to Little John and Big John's house that are living in the old Myers house.
Yep.
And he...
Oh my God, dude. Those two gay guys, yeah.
So funny. And here's another nice little trivia fact that Little John, the bigger John guy, he's the only actor in the history of film to be killed by both Michael Myers and Mike Myers, because Mike Myers runs him over in the first Austin Powers.
First Austin, that's hella funny.
No! I love that.
Shout out to that guy.
Dude. That's a cool little fact. But I love Little John and Big John. I think that's another like standout moment for the movie. Like, they're pretty funny characters, and they fit the night. The little story they're telling the trick-or-treaters, trying to scare the shit out of them and shit.
Yeah,
I like that whole thing. I like, even, it's kind of cheesy, but I like when they're gearing up to like fight whoever's in their house, and they're like, I've got this knife, I've got this one. It's so weird, but it just reminds me of like cheesy 80s slashers, which I think this movie is like a love letter to in a lot of ways.
It can be, and this one pulls the mob mentality or the mob scene stuff they pull from, I think it's 4, yeah, they pull it from 4 because another they do the same thing, and it's the same type of people, like backwoods type looking people.
Absolutely. I was gonna say something, but I'm not gonna say it. But
hillbilly.
No, I was gonna say something even dumber, but I won't even say it because it's dumb. It's ignorant stupidity, and I won't say it. But I was just gonna say Trump supporters. Anyway, moving on. They get fucked up. Like, I love how they go into that whole thing, and it's like, you think, shit, well, they're finally going to accomplish something, and he just fucking annihilates them, dude.
In retrospect, they did accomplish something. They fucked Michael up. Even though he came back and got them all, he was fucked up from that in the third one, in Ends. Which doesn't really fit.
Fuck that.
His kind of persona type thing.
He survives all that other shit.
But then that's what get him.
Yeah, so I'm good on that.
But
pass.
So what's your rating on Kills? Do you like it more than 18?
No, I think it's.
So you still think 18's better?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because 18 has a lot of problems. Or I mean, Kills has a lot of problems. Like,
it does.
Like the inmate thing we talked about, the no encounters with Laurie, Laurie is lackluster as fuck in this movie after they built her up into something important in the last one.
Which they make this one also an homage to 2 with, with quite a bit of the movie happening at the hospital.
Absolutely.
So that was cool too. But also a bad thing because they didn't even bring Michael to the hospital really. I think he got there at one point, but somehow left. But anyways,
I would have done some of those things, but I wouldn't have done others. Like, I don't know. I'm not a filmmaker, but David Gordon Green and Danny McBride and that writing troupe kind of dropped the ball in some ways. But I still think the sheer violent nature of Michael in this movie is unmatched, and it does a lot of things I like. Like, I love when he kills that family with the drone, or the couple with the drone.
Oh yeah,
it shows him doing the kill setups, which we see Michael do all the time. This one, it shows him stabbing that dude like 7 times. So when they find him, it's horrific,
Yep.
And then we don't want to forget to mention that woman because she will make her appearance in Halloween Kills, the female of that couple.
Halloween Ends.
Yeah. Or yeah, she'll come back in Ends. The one that he stabs in the throat with the light.
Yep.
Yeah. So she'll be back in Ends. So can't not mention them. Another shout out thing I want to mention though before I give my rating is that scene where he kills the nurse and the woman dressed as a nurse and her husband and shit. They're like out on the prowl for Tommy Doyle and everyone, and he fucking kicks the door at the chick who's aiming the gun at him, and she fucking shoots herself.
Oh my god!
So sick, dude. That's such a great scene. Like, it's filmed really well. They use the same practical effect that they used in 1978 Halloween, where they like tape a hammer to the actor's hand and smash the window the way he does. They do that on both of them. And I can't believe we haven't mentioned that the original Michael Myers plays Michael Myers in a lot of the shots in 2018 and Kills.
That's awesome.
I forget his name, but
he looks a lot bigger.
Michael Jai Courtney, I think it's something like that. But he's cool. Like, he played the original shape, so you can see some of the same mannerisms in 2018 and the flashback sequence. And
true, but how did he get so much bigger?
I think he was always big. I just think the way that movie is filmed is weird. Well, because it's just weird. It's the way the movie's filmed. Like,
well, I mean, he was a lot
younger.
He's a
big guy. Yeah, he's still a bigger guy. Like, when you see him next to Jamie Lee Curtis in that dark hallway scene when she takes the mask off of him, he's a good, like, almost 3 feet taller than her. Like, he's...
Jesus.
It's wild, but I do like that. I think it's a nice little tidbit. So,
that is cool. That is cool.
Halloween Kills is probably like 6.5, 7. Like, still pretty good. I think, especially when we compare it to like 5, 6 Resurrection, it's a much more serving film than those movies to me. Evil dies tonight.
Evil dies tonight.
What about you? What's
I give it a
Deuce
5
rating?
and a 5 and a 5 and a 5. 5 5.
5
give it 5 5.
5 5 5 deal.
5 5 5 5. Get 5 for 5 when you 5 for 5.
We also didn't even mention the brutal death that the boyfriend receives. I love it. Like, he she's like, leave him alone.
Another thing that she just
crack. So sad.
All in one night. My gosh, that poor girl. I mean, it kind of makes sense why she fucks around with Corey's little bitch ass.
Disagree. It makes even less sense because of what happens. And let's just lead with that right into a mid-roll break. I think it's time we take a break. We got 2 more movies to go, so I can get worked up about Ends, but yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a perfect time before we talk about Ends.
Goddamn Ends, dude.
Talk about Ends. Okay.
Well, we'll be right back.
We'll be back.
That's pretty crappy way to lead us back into the second half of part 3 of Halloween here, where we're talking about 2022's Halloween Ends.
So thankful it ends.
Yeah. David Gordon Green's last outing for this new timeline that he has concocted. He thinks he's so tight that he can just erase 2 timelines.
He thinks he's so tight he can make this movie. Who the fuck is Corey and why the fuck is he here? Why?
I mean, yeah, he was just hired to do a job, but I don't understand.
Not hired to do a shitty job.
Yeah, so if you haven't seen Halloween Ends, it picks up years after, like 4 years or 3 years or 2 years? Some shit.
It's something like that.
I don't even remember. It's some certain amount of years after Halloween Kills, and Laurie has moved on, and Allison has moved on, and they're kind of doing their own thing. And then the movie decides to introduce us to a new character by the name of Corey Cunningham.
Which I do want to say in his defense, his introduction was sick. Fucked up.
It's probably the best part.
Best part of the movie, definitely, but fucked up when that kid scares him and then the kid falls from the 3rd floor flat, just bam.
Dead as fuck.
As the parents come in.
It's pretty fucked up.
That's pretty brutal for, when I first saw that, I was like, this is gonna be good.
I don't know. If the intro to the movie is the best part of the movie,
it's gonna be a shitty bullshit. Movie.
Yeah. So, having said all that, Corey Cunningham is set up as the movie's new, like, antagonist in a way, I guess.
Antagonist.
I don't know.
Evil, bad guy, pussy.
But to immediately jump into the last thing you said before the mid-roll break, where you said it makes sense that she's fucked up and she falls for Corey, I completely disagree with that, because she just survived a psychopath murdering her family, basically, and her boyfriend, and somehow she just willy-nilly falls for what is very clearly another psychopath. It just seems so fucking stupid to me and unbelievable. Like, she knows Michael's backstory and she knows all that shit, and Corey shares a lot of those same qualities, and Jamie Lee Curtis's Laurie Strode still and tells her that shit, like, I see a lot of Michael in this guy, and she's like, fuck it, I'm gonna Romeo and Juliet this guy, let me suck his dick.
So you're talking about a girl who in the span of 3 years lost her mom, her dad, and her boyfriend brutally murdered in front of her, and she's acting out. I think we're speaking of a regular young person here. How many girls or guys experience a shitty life and end up with a drug addict or an alcoholic or do something stupid for a while? She's acting out because she doesn't know what to do.
Any other scenario, I would agree with you, but in this situation, I don't think so.
And it doesn't help that Laurie 180s it and becomes a terrible person.
Knitting grandma.
Yeah. I wanted to build a house of love and light.
Get fucked.
Oh my God. So here's the thing, is that you see the boy die and it's like, oh, here we go. And then fades in what's going on with Laurie now.
Yeah.
And it is the most infuriating crap I've ever seen. Like, you're so hyped and then they pull the rug out from under you.
That's one.
And that's just the beginning. That's like the first 5-10 minutes.
The movie just abandons every theme and expectation and anticipation, whatever word you want to use, that the previous 2 movies set up. It just bitch slaps you for coming back for the 3rd one.
It is
or the 4th one, technically.
In the gonads.
Yeah, it's just fucking stupid. Like, I don't give a shit about this Corey Cunningham guy and this super rushed relationship between her and Allison, or him and Allison, is just unbelievable horseshit to me. And
so, I guess I'm sorry.
No, I just was going to say also, why is Corey Cunningham such a pussy that he's letting like the high school marching band bully him?
Oh my God.
What the fuck is that, dude?
When did the high school marching band become so cool?
Yeah, like,
I've never seen that in my life before. They're like you're gonna bully me while you suck on a trombone, you musical man.
Bullying is not cool no matter what. So to paint them in that is just stupid and unbelievable. And then secondly, like, it just, I don't know, everything in the movie to me just feels so goddamn forced
and stupid.
Yeah.
Again, so I feel some influences from other movies in this, like the transfer of evil with Jamie Strode from 4 and 5 and 6.
Shout out to part 1 of our episodes.
Yep. Shout out to part 1, the Thorn trilogy.
Because we mentioned that shit. We both talked about it.
She touches his hand, and then that's what transfers the evil to her, and she goes and stabs her stepmother at the end of the 4th one. And what eventually happens is Corey touches his hand when he grabs him, and that's that moment where they lock eyes in a lover's embrace, and you can feel the transfer of evil into Corey as they let go hands, sweaty and unsure of what happened. Corey stumbles out of the... Sorry, I thought it was a gay romance novel, lame romance novel. I don't know. Apologize. That's what the scene felt like to me.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. That was just it.
I mean, I got no problem if they're gonna be gay, whatever. But like,
yeah, Michael even got to find love.
What makes the transfer of evil a thing? Like, it's stupid. Like, if that were something Michael could do, why wouldn't he have done it sooner? Or like, why wouldn't he have just, I'm going to just switch into a different body. Why didn't I pull a Charles Lee Ray and fucking take over a different body? Or what? I know it's not a transfer of his psyche and everything about him, but like, it's just stupid. Like, I don't know. I think it opens a Pandora's box of questions that it doesn't want to answer. So it's like,
and why Corey? Corey didn't commit that murder. He wasn't like, when you see Corey in the beginning of the movie, he's a different person. He's like a regular kid who's babysitting. Mm-hmm. You see the change in him because he's labeled a murderer now, and but he didn't do a Michael. So being like, I see a lot of the same qualities. I get because of the transfer, but why would you transfer on to him? He's obviously just a wussy. He's obviously just some kid who's been bullied by the freaking band, the marching band, the tuba players, the freaking violinists are bullying this kid. But he's the one who Michael's going to switch his power into. When Michael, when he was a kid, stabbed his parents, this kid just accidentally knocked a kid down. And it ended terribly, but it wasn't maliciously.
I know they're just movies, but that's one of the reasons I don't like Rob Zombie's Halloween, which I mentioned a little bit earlier. And to some extent, why I don't like this movie. I don't need for any moment in the movie for me to feel sympathy for a murdering bastard. And that's what Rob Zombie's Halloween does. It's like, oh, he came from a bullied home. And blibbity blobbity bloop. I know it happens in real life, and that's what can sometimes result in these actions. But in a movie, as the viewer, I'm not sitting here trying to go, poor Michael. If he hadn't been bullied, he may not have killed all these people.
Poor little Mike.
And same with Corey Cunningham. Like, fuck that guy. I don't give a shit about him. Like, he chose to do dickish things only because of an accident that, yeah, he's like wrongly accused of because it didn't go down the way people think, and I get that. It tries to rewrite the Michael Myers thing, all while thinking it's clever, by the way, by having his initials be CC, just like Michael Myers. It's fucking stupid. Like, if David Gordon Green, if you're listening to this, dude, fuck you. Like,
dude, what were you doing?
You've made some cool shit, but what is this shit?
This is not good. And then you give us Believer. Like, you made us believers with 1 and 2, and then you give us ends in Believer. I can't believer you.
I don't know. Like I said, I don't know what the thought process is for both of those movies. This trilogy of Halloween films and Believer, for being like, fuck the sequels. Like, I just don't know who. Shit, that's another one with multiple timelines, I guess, is The Exorcist. But I don't get the idea behind it if you're not going to do something better or more productive.
And So again, you're telling me that this Corey kid who gets bullied by the band geeks overpowers Michael and punches him and gets his mask off him.
Yeah.
But then Michael comes back later and is basically back to how strong he was before, just wrecking people. So please somehow make that make sense, because I'm telling you right now, it's bothered me since, because I was like, how can Mike, I get it, he's been effed up for a while since he got effed up by the mob and kills. He barely made it out of that, but it's been like a year or two. He survived 6 shots, falling off of a roof, all that, but Corey comes in there.
I don't buy it, because he doesn't just barely scrape by that attack. Like we see him after the attack of the village people. He's walking just fine, you know, and he kills Allison after that, and then he just stands there and stares out of his window at the end of kills. So he doesn't look fucked up to me.
No, I remember at the end, after that fight, when he was walking away, he did walk away fucked up.
I don't remember him.
Was he limping? I don't remember him anything.
Yeah, he was limping. I'm pretty sure he was limping. And let's be fair. Do you think Judy Greer's character really would have hurt him at all? One-on-one, even with Michael hurt?
No, he just took out 30 people in a row.
That's my point. Even if he's hurt like a mother effer, he's going to destroy that little girl.
Nope, I'm going and hiding in a sewer.
After I stare out this window for a while, I'm going to go to the sewer.
Yeah, what's the explanation for that? They don't even explain that shit. Like, I think I saw someone in Reddit say, like, well, in the novelization, they tear down the Michael Myers. Well, get fucked, all right? I didn't see that shit on screen, so I don't give 2 fucks. They don't ever explain what happens to Michael at the end of kills. How was he able to escape when the cops were all through that fucking area? You know, I mean, what happened to the house? Why is he in the sewer? What the actual fuck? Who the fuck's Corey Cunningham? Why would we wait 3 fucking movies in, or your 4th movie technically into this run of movies, and be like, here's a new character.
Here's Corey.
Fuck him.
Fuck him. And you know what?
The kills aren't even good in this movie
fuck
either.
His mama too.
Like there's nothing in the movie where I'm like, oh, that was sick. Okay, I'm never mind. That's not true. When he kills the band bullies, that scene,
it is sick.
Corey kills them. That's probably the only time he's good. Actually, and another notable kill is when he cuts the DJ's tongue off and smashes his face into the DJ desk. I think those are both creative. But beyond that, I don't want to see Corey Cunningham killing anybody. I want to see Michael do that shit.
And what was his obsession with Lori?
Yeah, to remove the it's his sister thing. Why is he coming back for her?
No, Corey.
Well, but Lori, you said Lori, so that's why I was like,
I'm sorry, Corey.
So, but same thing with Lori. That brings up a great point. Like, why is he coming back for Lori for their little final duel if it's not his sister anymore?
I'm sorry, I misspoke. Why did Corey go after Lori?
I think he went after her because she sees the evil in him. And maybe that's the same fucking reason they're trying to say, like, that Michael goes for her. But it doesn't land. I'll kill that movie.
Okay, so in this timeline, Lori is no longer related to him because in the second one they established that. So Michael is still just a stranger who has an obsession with Lori.
Yeah, for no reason. What's the reason? I mean, he never directly comes back for her.
I mean, by kills standard, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, didn't they play it off that he was never after Lori? It was just by chance she was always where he was at. Probably. I don't know. I might be wrong.
There's some haphazard writing in these movies. So.
Don't quote me on that because I could have just pulled that out of my ass. But I thought that's what somebody said, and that's why in Kills, he doesn't ever end up at the hospital because he was never really going after Lori. She just happens. But then that doesn't make sense why he drove all the way out to her ranch.
He as fuck shows up for her.
He didn't. He got brought to her house, remember?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, again, that's right, because they're saying that he wasn't after Lori. He just got put there and Lori was there.
Corey must be the plot device to lead him to Lori for ends because, he goes to her to kill her or whatever in her house. And then Michael's after Corey because somehow Corey Cunningham strong arms Michael out of his own fucking mask.
Out of his own mask. But yet, I'm getting a headache talking about this stupidity.
This movie sucks. Like, I've tried to give it a lot of chances.
I've watched it. I watched it like 4 times.
Yeah, same. I've probably seen it like 6 or 7 times.
I'll be honest, I didn't watch it this round.
Me neither. I don't want to see it anymore.
I watched 18 and part of Kills.
Yeah.
But I've seen those all super recent. I just didn't want to watch Ends again. I just couldn't.
I watched everything but 4 and Ends because 4 I had just watched like maybe a month and a half before we talked about doing this. And then Ends I didn't watch again because I don't want to see Ends again.
I don't ever want to see it again unless we're watching it in a satirical sense.
I just think it betrays everything that is Halloween with Michael Myers. Like, it just doesn't.
Why set up a new character?
Well, there's that. There's the no real reason for Michael to be back in Ends. Like, I don't know. Maybe just to propel Corey Cunningham's story along. But Allison sucks, even though she was really good in the first 2 movies. I just don't like her in this movie. Just ball droppings, dude.
I give it a fucking 2. Maybe a 1.5. This movie sucks.
1.5 for me.
Like across the board, there's no difference. It's 1.5. Like I can't give any excuses for this movie. Like I gave Allison a bit of an excuse, but even with that being said,
the little
movie is just the
standoff, the little final duel between Michael and Lori has a couple cool shots in it. It's filmed in an interesting way, but like ultimately we don't care about it anymore because it's like, whatever, dude. Like, you wasted her in Kills, so now in Ends I'm supposed to be stoked that they share a 45-second fight scene. Get fucked. I don't care.
You find out that she was never even after. No, don't you remember the Oh, okay. I should have rewatched Kills, the full thing. I watched part of it, but this is why. What's Judy Greer's name in the movie? I can't remember.
I fucking don't remember.
Whatever. Either way, she figures out somehow that Michael was never after Lori. So this is it. She figures out he was never after Lori. He was just trying to get back to his window so he could stare out the window. There it is. That's that. Ooh.
That's dumb.
Ooh. That's okay. So remembering that about Kills, I've got to drop it about a 0.5 point.
Well, I mean, it's stupid anyway. And we talked about all 3 of these movies and didn't even mention the stupid fucking doctor that kind of steps in for Loomis, and he's like obsessed with the whole thing, and he's the one that frees Michael, teaches him how to drive,
and brings him to Lori.
Yep. Dumb.
I mean, that
dumb.
I wonder if they took that as like a homage to Loomis being accused of that. Probably. Because they're like, how did he drive? He can't drive. Well, he bloody drove well. Mm-hmm. That,
he seemed to drive very well last night.
Yeah. So good 6 times. Mm-hmm. I shot him 6 times, but I taught him.
Loomis.
I taught him 6 times. So yeah, that's gonna drop freaking Kills because I forgot that wasn't me making it up. That was her figuring that out, and that's absolutely stupid. My name's Michael. I'm pure evil. I can survive pretty much anything, but I'm only here to stare out my window.
You owe us half a rating, though. You only gave us 1 rating. What's the other one?
The same thing. It's a freaking 1.5.
Just a 1.5 across the board.
1.5 across the board. I can't even give it an excuse being in the horror genre because this is a pilot. I'd rather probably watch Jack and Jill get high.
Shit, I'd probably watch that too.
Shit, over this movie for sure. And it's not even like comically bad like The Room. Mm-hmm. The Room's a bad movie, but it's comically bad. This movie is bad in the sense that
bad in a good way. The Room.
Yeah, The Room. This movie's bad in a bad way.
Bad in a shit way.
Bad to the bone.
Shit in a bad way.
Amber turd to the bone.
Well, having said that, that's going to lead us into, I guess, what you could call maybe just like a mini episode in an alternate universe where we talk about
Halloween 3! Season of the Witch! Hell yeah, Season of the Bitch! Season of the Witch! Tim Atkins! Hell yeah. Oh my gosh. Tim Atkins! Tell me more!
That was alternate reality, Practical and Rex, where we're both women, apparently.
And you wouldn't know this, but we were sex phone workers. 1-800
Season of the Witch.
Yeah, what we were seasoned witch.
1-800 Season of the Witch.
So
this movie is 1982's
Halloween 3 Season of the Witch.
That's the real timeline introduction, because
that sure is. What year?
That.
What's the year?
82.
Ooh, 82.
82. So only a year after the sequel. So they were like, fucking rush it into production, but let's stick to John Carpenter's original idea and turn the Halloween franchise title into what he originally wanted, which was a fucking anthology. Which would have been different shit each time.
I want you to lead this episode off because you like this movie. You've got an affinity for it. So let's go through that.
I like it because it's weird and it's different. And while at the time I hated it because there was no Michael Myers in it, I don't really think it's that bad of a movie overall. Like, it kind of gives me Silent Hill vibes in a way. It kind of gives me culty vibes too, like the Cult of Thorn shit, but its own thing. It just gives me, because the whole town is in on the like Shamrock Factory shit basically. But that being said, that's what the movie's about. Is, this guy rolls into town, he's looking for something or other, and kids across the country are committing these heinous acts, and he eventually uncovers it's because the Shamrock company is putting chips or voodoo spells or whatever the fuck it is into the masks and making them do wild shit.
Yeah, those weird stamps. It never really specified what they did.
Yeah.
It just insinuated that they were doing it.
As soon as you put the mask on, apparently you're gonna fucking kill some motherfuckers. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't get the movie. The movie's Tim Atkins.
You keep bringing up Tim Atkins and it almost sounds like a negative light, but I don't know that motherfucker from anything else. Am I supposed to?
No, I don't know anything else, but I looked it up because I was like, who the frick is this guy?
He's like Kmart Burt Reynolds.
He's like Grocery Outlet Burt Reynolds. Like, my lord, man, I couldn't.
I too have a mustache.
Do you like mustaches? Well, you're just in time.
If I ever become a famous criminal, I'm going to change my name to Justin Time. Just in time to commit crime.
I'm going to name myself Leroy Jenkins.
Just run in and fuck everything up for everyone. Yeah. That's kind of what David Gordon Green did in the other Halloween Ends there.
He was janking everything.
But yeah, Season of the Witch, it's definitely a different concept, but like we talked about, like Carpenter had intended a different story and it to be an anthology, kind of like Tales from the Crypt, but in movie form, where, every installment is a different horrific Halloween story. And I vaguely think maybe Wes Craven had intended that for the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise too, but I don't remember. But either way, obviously things didn't go as planned and Michael Myers came back.
It didn't land, it crashed.
Yeah, it didn't do well.
Like Malaysia Flight.
This movie also does have some horror movie titties in it as well, a little bit.
Yeah.
Because Tim Atkins is getting that Grocery Outlet Isabella Rossellini. I don't know.
He's giving her that Grocery Outlet wiener.
Yeah. Which is cheap. Nobody wants it and it kind of stinks.
Smells like day old bacon left out in the sun.
That's probably how a lot of people feel about this movie. And I guess I wouldn't blame them because you're going in expecting the third installment to have Michael again, and it doesn't. It just robs you of every connection to it. Just shy of what Tim Atkins seeing it on the TV screen, like Halloween exists
as a
movie within a movie kind of thing.
But I mean, in reality, it could have been something like to the effect of Stab in Scream.
Yeah,
it was a real event on a Halloween night, and they made a movie about it.
That's pretty interesting too to think about.
Which would tie into the anthology thing.
It makes me wonder too, like, would the studio have continued doing this actual anthology thing had it actually worked? Like,
if they would have made a good one, yeah, but the problem and the problem always will be, they established too popular of a character and they made a second one. Even if they killed him,
it's true.
It doesn't matter. When people think of Halloween, they are gonna think of Laurie Strode and Michael Myers.
I do have one question for you.
Shoot.
Does this do anything for you?
That stupid commercial.
No, come on. It's catchy. It's Halloween. 6 days. Okay, it's not catchy.
Those
it sucks.
Damn mask commercials. It's great though, is it does sound like an 80s commercial.
And it's pretty interesting too, because like we get to see those masks in Kills, which is a cool little throwback. But
yeah, no, I mean, honestly, they did a good job with all three of those movies with the callbacks, even ends.
Yeah,
with the way they called back to everything. It's like a little bit of all the Halloween movies made it into them. Just little sprinkles of them.
Yeah, which is cool. And like, Season of the Witch, I think, should have tried to tie in somehow to the rest of them, just for shit's sake, other than it being like a movie within a movie. But one thing that I have in my headcanon that I told you about that I have to mention, and I have blasted it everywhere online before to like no avail. Nobody cares, but I will say I think a nice way to have tied this in would have been to make Michael's mask a silver shamrock mask, and like the clown mask. I mean, like the original mask that he used when he killed his sister.
Yeah. The one that Jamie wears 2 and 4.
Yeah, like that would have been cool. Obviously not the main white mask that we see, but even then, why not? Like Silver Shamrock could have been one of those, like the Umbrella Corporation for Resident Evil, where their reach is wild and they've made every mask for how many years and nobody caught on to this evil shit. I don't know. I think it would have been a cool headcanon thing to tie Season of the Witch in.
Think of this, it does, but it's a movie within a movie that recognizes a movie. So with the masks being in Season of the Witch, the movie Season of the Witch must exist in the same capacity the original Halloween movie existed in that world.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So like it could just be like one of those play-ons. This is how they address Halloween to make it known that the Halloween happens in the universe, just maybe in a different form.
Just so you know, it is still Halloween.
Just so you know, Michael Myers does exist in this world, but he's a character. He's just a caricature.
Well, obviously, this movie bombed like a motherfucker. Like, it did not do well.
If maybe they didn't make a second one, they might have had a better chance.
It wasn't well received. It wasn't good to most people. But I like it in retrospect. Like, watching it as an adult, making that separation from the franchise and just being like, oh, okay, this is all little special, I don't know, like slept on horror film, which there are a lot of them. And I think especially during the early 80s, mid 80s, there's a lot of nice gems. And I think Season of the Witch is kind of one of those. I don't think it's that bad.
I'm going to disagree.
Yeah.
I disagree. I don't think it's the worst of the worst. Obviously, it's better than Ends.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's better than 4, 5, and 6.
I mean, that's fair. Well, actually, wait. No, that's not fair. It's definitely better than 5 and 6. Maybe not 4, but to me, I think it's better.
I don't think so. I just didn't. I didn't care for it. Like, even though Michael wasn't in it, I just didn't care for the whole.
I get
We're
it.
the Shamrock Company. We make our masks so nice. All we do at the end is put on this quality assurance button that says Shamrock. Get fucked.
Get fucked.
Get fucked.
That'll be something that a lot of you will be hearing in the coming weeks when our new host, Danny, pops in. Probably in like a week. That motherfucker says get fucked all the time. So get fucked.
Well, get fucked.
Danny Gast, he'll be coming in soon. New host.
Coming in hot.
Probably should announce him now because he will virtually be in the next episode. So
I guess so.
Yeah.
Well, everybody, our next episode, we will be introducing a new host. His name is Danny.
Expanding and all that goes with having 3 people talking about this shit now. That should be fun.
Oh, it's going to be fun. It'll add another layer.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what we are. We're like onions and ogres. We're made of layers.
Got to peel out somehow.
Yeah.
And that's what we'll be doing because we're expanding here, Deep Dive. We got a lot going on. And I think a new host will be nice for everyone and give a third opinion. So tune in for that. With all that said, I guess we'll go ahead and give the rating for Season of the Witch because I don't have much more to say about that bitch. And for me, it's going to be, about a 7.
I give it a 3 for one and a 3.5 for the next.
Yeah.
I will probably, honestly, never watch it again. Unless, you know what, it becomes a movie that I just throw on at night and it's just on. Or it's just like on the streaming and I'm like, I'll throw it on. That might be. But if the next time I go through a Halloween movie run, that one will definitely be skipped.
No.
Same with Ends.
I get that. I think a lot of people skipped it.
Shit, I'll watch Resurrection again before I watch Ends or 3 Season of the Witch again.
Hell yeah.
At least it's got Busta Rhymes and not Corey Dickingham. Penis in his hand.
He definitely ruined it, but I think
poor guy too. If I ever see him in another movie, I'm gonna be like, hey, that's that piece of shit Corey Penis Hand.
Makes it sound like a reject for Edward Scissorhands or something. Well, I guess overall, what are your overall thoughts on the Halloween franchise on the whole? Because we've talked about damn near every one of them except for the Rob Zombie movies, which we will again cover in the coming weeks, sometime in November.
As a whole, pretty solid.
Yeah,
pretty solid. I'm gonna say, it has its ups and downs, but if out of all of them, there's only 2 that I really won't ever watch again. Like Resurrection probably is going to be on the I won't really ever watch it again, maybe, but I'll definitely watch it before Ends and 3 again.
Interesting.
Which is why I didn't watch Ends during this round, which is the only one I didn't watch.
Yeah, why would you? Doo-doo stew.
I mean, I probably should have for just clarity of memory, but I've tried really hard to forget that movie. So watching it again will just do all the hard work I've done, undo all the hard work I have done.
Yeah.
So F that movie, F Season of the Witch. But Halloween on the whole is a pretty good franchise. I think they do pretty good.
It's entertaining. I've always enjoyed it. I grew up with it, so I have a soft spot for it. But it's definitely not without its flaws and its obvious cash grabs and all the bullshit along the way. But for me, I'll literally watch any of them, including Resurrection, but I will not watch Ends. Just think it betrays everything that is Halloween, and I'd rather watch Busta Rhymes Trick or Treat Motherfucker than to worry about really any of the shit that Ends does. So yeah, I think an interesting tidbit that I didn't mention before that Laurie Strode either played or reprised, Jamie Lee Curtis played or reprised that role 7 times, which is wild.
7 times! I played Laurie 7 times!
Hell yeah, 7 times.
Dr. Loomis, you'll never be forgotten.
7 fat checks, except for maybe the first.
Probably first 2.
Yeah, first 2.
No, you know what? I bet to get her to come back after she saw the money they made, she was probably like, if you want me back, I'm going to need that.
I think I know she negotiated a pretty good deal for herself in H2O and Resurrection as well, because she's only in the movie for like 13 minutes or some shit, if that. Well, 7 or 8 minutes.
When you're needed, you're needed.
You got to get her back. Well, with all that said, I think that about wraps up episode 18 of Deep Dive. Part 3 of the Halloween franchise. Our first ever 3-parter.
Our first ever 3-way.
And we'd like to know what you guys think. Hit us on all the familiar socials, Facebook, X, or Twitter, whatever the fuck you want to call it.
Get at us.
YouTube, Amazon, Good Pods. Still don't really know what the fuck that one is, but we are there.
We are the Good Pods. Also, don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, share, care, bear, air.
We might take a break from Deep Dive, Side Dive episodes for at least 1 week, because I don't know that we really have anything locked and loaded due to a tiny trip I'm taking next week. So when I come back, we'll restore order in the 2-episode-a-week deal.
Execute Order 66.
But we might still pull it off. I don't know. We'll see.
We'll see what happens, but
if not, you got an explanation.
You got your explanation, and this is your host, Rex.
And your boy, Practical, for another episode of Deep Dive.
Deep Dive, and happy Halloween, everybody.
Happy fucking
Halloween.
Hell yeah. We'll catch you next week.
Catch you on the flip side.